When the 1933 Boeing 247 Airliner finally arrived at the Museum of Flight in April of 2016, more than a half-century had elapsed since the museum acquired the airplane. In March of 1966, two supporters of the early museum, Ray Pepka and Jack Leffler, bought the 247 and ferried it from Bakersfield, California to Renton, Washington. And it was on a spring day in 1966, when the 247 was on long final approach to the Renton airport, that I looked out my second-story window in world history class at nearby Renton High School and saw a strange twin-engine airplane arriving that I didn't recognize. I had to go see what it was after school. I was 15 and I was hooked. The scarred, anodized aluminum skin was too blotchy and patched. New gray paint represented the original finish. This was the first airplane I ever piloted from the right seat when I was 16. The 247 became the symbol of the young museum. The 247 and the promise of an air museum were powerful magnets for a group of teenagers in the last half of the 60s. Whether we were more headache than help, we may never know, but our adult mentors were largely patient and very, very helpful. The 247 suffered a collapsed right main gear at Boeing Field, returning from the Abbotsford International Air Show in August 1967. In the back, I watched sparks fly from the right wingtip before we clipped a runway light and slewed 180 degrees in the grass median. Scared me more than my 16-year-old ego would acknowledge at the time. Air museums were a new and evolving phenomenon in the 1960s, and Harl Brackin was on the cutting edge of developing what would become the Museum of Flight. The retirement of the 247 to the museum's campus at Boeing Field marks a serious passage. The pioneers who envisioned a museum still ride with that airplane. Their spirit lives on, as it is now displayed in the Museum of Flight. When you see the 247 in the museum, appreciate it for what it is, a wonderful piece of technology, but so much, much more. It is the very symbol of the Museum of Flight, the very reason the museum exists. And the people who animated this airplane in the 1960s deserve a lot of credit. And here's my best effort to remember the names of those who helped grow the museum in those early days, especially those who were involved with the 247.